I'm not going to take control of this situation. I'm just going to sit here and mind my business.
I'm not quite sure where. Probably Ohio. Yeah, I mean, I was definitely interested. This is a great idea.
It's the L&D space.
I did that, but I'm like, some of these are old. I gotta. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe 3,000 people in the project for 2,000 shares.
Thank you. I have to admit first, one thing really authentically. I've spoken many times, but I'm really nervous. But I know that this group is one of the best groups I've ever seen. Thank you for being that. So empowering. And I was telling some of my colleagues on the table today that you'll be surprised when you see the content that this was actually drafted 2 days before. But everything that I heard yesterday is in there. Seriously, I haven't copied any of it. It wasn't last night draft. But that tells you a lot about that the energy that you bring, and I'm going to talk about that a lot today, is that the energy that you bring and you connect with the right kind of people, and I'm so grateful that I am connected here. I feel like I'm blessed to be here. So thank you first of all for that. I know a lot of you talked about your journeys, and a lot of women have gone through what I hear, all the stories. And I'm going to not talk a lot deeper into the 3 years of deep, spiritual awakening I went through, but I would share some of the things that I have learned. And I'm really hoping that those things that I have learned, I can actually bring those back to you guys and share so you can use them as you go through your phases in your life. And also, one of my visions is that I want to introduce this new law of leadership. I feel like spirituality becomes a taboo when it comes to corporate. People, kind of have a stigma around it. But truly, I feel like we need to bring it to the corporate. Yes. Because, thank you. See, that's what I need. I need some Charlie. It'll help me. Thank you. So yeah, we'll talk about this. I'll give you a little background of why I'm here. And then we'll go into details about what I think a new law of leadership should look like. So these are two beautiful kids I have. I'm so blessed that I have these in my life. I was in corporate for 20 years, and I did not know that I was in a matrix. I was trapped in that 9 to 5. I thought I'm okay, I was happy, but I didn't know what peace was. I did not know what fulfillment was, and I did not know what purpose was. And one day, one of my life coach, and he was my VP, he just randomly asked me in my 101 one day, he's like, "What's your purpose?" And I was like, what? Do I need to have a purpose? I didn't know that. I was just living the life I was brought up to, and I was programmed. In India, if you ask me, most of the Indians can relate with this. There's only 2 options. You become an engineer, you become a doctor. That was what I was told. I loved sports, I loved teaching, I loved coaching people. I never knew that it'd be an option to get financial stability. I thought that was the only 9 to 5 job, was the only way to get financial stability and happiness in life. But guess what? I don't need happiness. I need peace. And I loved when you talked about what success is. It is peace. It is the contentment and fulfillment and finding what you're born to be. And everybody needs to do that. And that's why I'm here today, to really share how important it is and what we can do to really discover our inner wisdom through some of these tactics that I will share with you guys. Like I shared with you, I had 3 years of sitting at home. And the trigger was 3 layoffs. I know some of you talked about your layoffs. I was in defense for 8 months. I thought I'm okay, but I wasn't. After 8 months, one of my friends called me one day and she said, "You are the smartest person I know around me. You know, you're the strongest mother, a Kellogg MBA, like you've been a leader in your work. What's going on?" And she asked me some really strong questions, which helped me find out that I need to do something else. And she literally pushed me into this. She said, "What do you do?" And I can ask this question to you. I'd love to know if you think about this, is that what are things that you do when you're not getting paid, right? And then another question that really pushed me into what I'm doing today is, what if all the bills your life is paid? Will you still continue to do what you're doing today? If not, it is time to really rethink on what you really want to do and what really makes you happy.
Yes.
So that 3 years of spiritual awakening led me to Shambhala's land. And Shambhala in our culture is a place that's believed to be a place where future leaders are born. So my vision for future leaders is, a lot of you have touched on this, is authentic leaders, but with an abundance mindset. And I think some of you have touched on the abundance mindset. That is a game changer for me. I've always believed that everything that happens in this room, every person you talk to, you connect with, is orchestrated in a beautiful way by universe. You know, I connect with people, I meet the right people because my energy is meant to be. And there is a reason. There are lessons to learn, or there is a reason to grow. There's always something in there that we need to believe in, and that is an abundance mindset. And the other important part of abundance mindset is that what Cynthia is made for, or what she's born for, it doesn't conflict with what my abundance is. We all have, and I didn't know that. Trust me, I was a senior product manager, a product lead in Walgreens when I got laid off last time. And I was literally jealous of people who were getting to director's roles and senior director roles. But I was so wrong. And I'm so happy that I found this out. That, you know what, they deserved it, they earned it. And there are things that I need to learn and grow before I can get to where I need to go. And I mean, who defines these titles anyway? Hierarchies that we have defined in this word. Why does it need to be from senior product manager to be a director and senior director or VP? Why? We have to break that hierarchies and titles that we have. And look at this now. Like from a senior product manager, now I'm a CEO and founder.
Nice.
Who knew that is All right. You know, when this is like abundance. When abundance happens, you get surprised on how you get featured and get recognized because you are in the flow state. So, all right, before we get further down, I'm going to take a leadership pause. And I think a lot of you have done different type of breath work, and I want to teach a different aspect of it. And don't want you to stand up. Just close your eyes for a minute, and I'll guide you through it. Just observe your breath going from your nostrils to the inside of your body and see where it goes. And the next level of that observation as you observe your breath is also start to observe your body. Where do you feel the sensations in your body? Do you feel a little tumbling, little tingling in your arm, in your heart, in your legs? Start feeling those sensations. And the key part of the observing this is that you're observing these sensations but not reacting to it. So just keep observing them for 10 more seconds. Where are these sensations? I can feel something in my arms, in my heart. I can feel a tumbling and a tickling in my face. You can come back when you're ready. So what you have just done is called a Vipassana meditation. And I'm not a teacher, so I don't want to go deeper into that. But I think what you have done recently, just in the last 30 seconds, is that you have reprogrammed your body, your subconscious, your nervous system to break the reaction pattern. more and more we keep practicing these kind of tactics, and there's more that I will share, what you really do is you're programming your subconscious mind and becoming less of a reactive leader and becoming more of a responsive and a more conscious leader. And I practice that every day, morning and evening, and it has given me my peace and my content and connected me to my inner wisdom. And we'll talk more about that. So we all know about these old paradigms, right? We know these hierarchies that people have created and corporate has created, and a lot of control, which all leads out to burnout, right? What I'm recommending and what I hope this new leadership law would implement is 3 key things. You rediscover your purpose, and we'll talk about each of them. You find where your fulfillment is, and you use your intuition and your emotion as your compass. I think that is the biggest game changer for me, is that I used to not being able to process my emotions in the right way. Every emotion, whether it's anger, whether it's being sad, whether it's anxiety, it is helping you find where you need to grow internally. They are there for a purpose. Because we are programmed in a way, we don't realize that these emotions are actually to be used to grow versus, and you have to process it though. You can't suppress them as well, because otherwise they go under the rug and then they become suppressed emotions. You don't want to do that as well. So you need to make sure you process them, and we'll talk about all of them. So one of the key principles, like I said, is intuition. And I don't know if, let me ask this. How many of you feel like sometimes when you're making a big decision, you feel like there is a voice inside you which tells you that this is not right or this is right? Have you ever had that feeling?
Yes.
I have ignored it for so long, and I didn't know that was my superpower. And I want corporate leadership to start using that. And I know a lot of them. I know Jeff Bezos, Einstein. We saw that quote the other time in one of our presentation. A lot of leaders who have done something breakthrough, which is more innovative and something really creative, have always, given importance to intuition more than just the data. And I don't mean that data doesn't mean anything anymore, but with all the technology, especially the AI coming in, right? I think this human part and the creative part, which connects us to the inner wisdom that we have, is going to become way more important for us. So we've so I want to talk about how we get to our intuition, get more stronger about how we connect with our inner wisdom. What you did just when you were practicing the meditation technique that I shared with you, what you did is something similar, right? So what happens is, the way we've been programmed, let's say I see Cynthia, I see Vicky, I see Heather, and maybe somebody like Heather in past gave me a bad experience. What we do unintentionally is our subconscious, when the next time I look at somebody like Heather or Vicky, I react the same way, and I make judgments about them. And what the meditation technique that I shared with you earlier allows you to do is that you observe your patterns, you observe your emotion, and you try to see that am I judging based on my past experience, or is it really true on what I'm trying to assume about what Heather and Vicky and Cynthia might be? This is about really programming your subconscious mind. And if there's one thing I can leave you today with, this is the one. Start observing more than reacting and becoming that leader who can stop controlling things around them and try to surrender to, let me see what it looks like, versus trying to become like a judgment leader. One of the other things that, key principle of this new leadership law that I would love people to start using in corporate is that there is an energy. I think we kind of touched on this earlier, that there is an energy that you bring. And I think one of you talked about this. Before you walk into the room, your energy walks in, right? So it is this energy that I want to change. And I have a framework that I use with my clients a lot, which I call it as a what triangle, also called as karma triangle. what I was surprised when I learned about how karma and your actions and your thoughts are driven is that 10% of your action, maybe 15 to 20% of your words, but 70% of your thoughts derive what you're going to do and what your energy is going to be. I didn't know that. And there are people you meet, you feel like something was wrong and something was off. That's because even though they're saying something good on the words, but their intentions behind and their energy and the thoughts behind wasn't right. And the best part of this triangle is that I think we can hack each of them. So let's say one day you wake up and you don't have the right kind of energy and you don't have right kind of actions that you're able to take. I want to go to the gym, but I can't go it. I don't feel like doing it. But that's where you hack your actions to change your thoughts to really drive yourself to the right place. So this is something that I really teach and stand for, that I feel like, and of course the core part is intention.